Anyways, okay, the petition attorney, like I said, filed for a motion, and they granted the motion even though that there was falsities in the documents. So let me show you what it was. Order for continuance. This it says this is one falsity in the matter of the marriage of Sharetta Clark and Roberto Aguilar. Me and Mr. Aguilar is not married. So that was one falsity that was in this continuing for a motion. Now, this motion was filed to continue the de novo hearing. So I had a hearing on December the 13th, 2019. The judge wrote an order. This is the order right here, to turn our son over to the father without substantial grounds of doing so. And considering that I moved from Texas to the state of South Carolina, those are not the grounds. She did ask me why I moved. I told her I moved here to provide a better life for me and my son, to better life for me, my son, and I have a daughter, and she have a baby. So that was not false. That was true. Since I've been here, I've upheld that standard. My life has been better. I told her that I gave the father a reasonable amount of time, over a year. He agreed to it. He told the judge that I did. I also told the judge that I called the Attorney General's office. It can be proven. They should have it on file of me calling, asking asking the Attorney General about the geographical restrictions on in the original documents of the original court order. So they said I gave the father a reasonable amount of time. I should be okay. This was all 3 times. They didn't say, well, you have to go to the court. Not from my knowledge, I have to go to the court and get it modified through the court. Okay. So I wasn't told that. I didn't find that out until I had already moved. Okay. Because when the original court order was established, I didn't go in front of a judge. A judge did not. I went to mediation, and I went to a building. It was not downtown. It was on the west side of Fort Worth. And so we went to mediation there. We didn't go to an actual court for child support. And so I didn't know, because this wasn't in my daughter's court order. So anyways, it was established. So that's the first thing in this order for continuance. Okay. The second thing, the order for continuance, let me show you. I'm going to read to you what it said. I was trying to tell you about the de novo hearing, and I'll get to that in a minute, okay? I just want to get on, because it's going to be a little lengthy with this particular message. So this is the motion for continuance. And let me read to you what it says. Pursuant to Rule 251 of Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, the petitioner files this motion for continuance and states as follows. The suit involves a petition for divorce and suit affecting the parent-child relationship, SAPCR. Ramon, stop it.
I'm doing nothing.
Oh. So we are not married. We're not going for a divorce decree. This suit is set for a de novo hearing on February 14th, 2020. I had another hearing scheduled for February the 13th to withdraw my counsel, the counsel that I had, because he wasn't doing nothing for my case. He didn't file no paperwork, but one paperwork, and that was the just stating that I deny all claims, right? So he wasn't doing nothing with my case. Even going to my hearing December the 13th, 2019, he said absolutely nothing. And out of all the hours I spent submitting to him 70 something pages of documents, having 2 jobs, having my son to look after, making sure his homework is done, interacting with his teachers, taking him lunch because of school. I mean, just all type of stuff I had to do. And I go to court and he said absolutely nothing to the judge that defend me. Okay. So anyways, this is not about him right now. This is not about him. This is about this. Roberto has not previously requested a continuance in this suit. January the 13th, I had a de novo hearing. My former attorney assistant sent me the hearing date, and it said a swearing only. I messaged her and I asked her, what is a swearing only? I still got these text messages. I asked her, what is a swearing only? She said, well, you got to swear in to give your testimony. But she was deceiving me because they had already manipulated that, we just going to have her to come here. And I drove 1,100 something miles to Texas with my money that is not in the best interest of the child, for me to drive there for nothing, because that's the money I could have spent on my child, taking care of him. It's not in the best interest of the child. So I drove there for me to go to court, raise my hand, and say, I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Well, the right hand. And then she said she reset it for February the 14th. I had nothing to do with the scheduling. So she said that she have not asked for a continuance before. Yes, you did, because you was not even at that particular. So that's a contradiction. That's a manipulation. You wasn't even at that hearing. Somebody came on your behalf to reschedule. Okay. The continuance is not sought for delay only, but that justice may be done. That's 5. Number 4, sufficient cause exists for the requested continuance that respondent's attorney is out of the office with a contagious disease. On February the 14th of 2020, she was not out of the office for a contagious disease. If she celebrate Valentine's Day, that is exactly what she was doing, enjoying her time off. She did not have a contagious disease, and the judge did not even ask her for the proof. My attorney never seen no proof, because he was still my attorney at this time, on January the 13th, before January the 13th, of me and him going to court, so he will withdraw from being my attorney. There was no proof that she had to get a court. So, but the judge, with all these falsities in this document that we are married and we're going for a divorce decree, the judge signed off on this continuance. But here come my continuance with all proof, all truth. It's a motion for continuance pursuant to Rule 251 of Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. Respondent me requests this motion for continuance and states as follows. Petitioner's attorney is seeking to set this suit for pretrial, which is true. Sufficient cause exists for the requested continuance of this suit, asking that no hearings be set at this time so respondent Sharetta Clark can obtain counsel. That was true. I did not have counsel. There are many contradictions within the documents filed, manipulations, and law is not being reverenced. Now, you respected this, you acknowledged this. You acknowledge that. Now, you respected this document with the falsities, and you acknowledge this, but you didn't acknowledge the documents that has the truth, the proof, and the truth. So there's manipulations. This continuance is sought for delay only to obtain counsel. That was the truth. Sharetta N. Clark requests the court to grant this motion and enter an order to continue proceedings. This wasn't even acknowledged. We didn't even have a hearing on this continuance. The judge just threw that to the side. The court coordinator at the 325th Judicial Court, she threw it to the side. She is the one that scheduled the hearings. And all in all, even if, yes, yeah, go over there with Ramon. All in all, even if she threw it to the side, over there with Ramon, baby, okay? The judge could have picked it up and said, no, she filed for a continuance. She filed for a continuance. So let's see about this continuance. I have to put my phone on the charger. So, anyways, I said verification number 3 statement can be found in references. Number 3 statement was there are many contradictions within the documents filed, manipulations, and law is not reverenced. The verification, that was number 3, statement 3. The verification of number 3 statement can be found in references my original affidavit, my modified affidavit, my motion that I submitted to the court for failure to state a claim, my motion to sign and enter temporary order, my motion to sign temporary order hearing held with associate judge. So all those documents, I gave them references, but it was pushed to the side. Okay. So back to this petitioner request for admissions. Now let me tell you what Exhibit A says. Before I tell you what Exhibit A says, Ramon, I'm on the computer. You in Korea, please. The paper highlighted, the place highlighted. I'm gonna read what it says. Suit means cause number. The cause number styled in the matter of the marriage of Roberto Aguilar and Sharetta Clark, and in the interest of Ramon Aguilar, a child, in the 325th District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. It got it again that we are. Oh, it got it in there that we are married. It don't have it on in the matter of the marriage on the front. It have it in the documents that we are married. Okay. So let me talk to you about Exhibit A. This Exhibit A. Exhibit A states, admit or deny the following. At this point right here, at this point where we're at, this is frivolous. I don't have to answer no more questions. I don't have to answer no more questions because a blind man can see that this particular case is frivolous, is done in bad faith. You want to run up the litigation costs for me. And it's not in the best interest of the child, because the more money I spend for a frivolous lawsuit, the less, and that's a contradiction, the less I can provide for my son. It's taken out of my household. Okay? So it say omit or deny the following. First one, that Roberto Aguilar can serve the best interest of the child. My son has been behind all year on his grades. And it's not because he's in virtual learning. Since he's been with me, one particular class went up 21 points. So far, all his grades have not been graded. Another class points has went up 23 points. And then the other classes, another one went up to 100%, and that's in PE. He got to get a grade in PE. You have to get a petition, huh? Right, that's fine.
But he at 100%, and he ain't been at 100% all year. PE is easy. He said PE is easy. So his other grades, I can tell the teachers have not been grading some papers because he's still at the same grade. So I'm going to personally reach out to his teacher and ask him about that. But his grades have improved. Matter of fact, should I pause it right now and attach it? I will do so. Now I'm back. Okay. So my that his daddy can serve the best interest of the child. His daddy have not really been on, and this message is not to degrade nobody. The most ultimate goal. Go over there with your computer. Go open the door for her, Ramon, please. The ultimate goal is for parents to be able to get along, not few. For parents to be honest and say that I just want to bother you. I just want to destroy you because I don't like you. This parent, my son's father, have told me he despised me. I'm the worst thing that ever happened to him. So you're not going to try to do anything. You're not going to say that you're wrong until the actual people that walk in honesty get involved. With this particular case, you're not going to say you're wrong because you despise me. Because I've been a better parent when disciplining Ramon, making sure Ramon do his homework and so forth and so on. Even if I have to take him, I'm not with my daughter. She plays soccer. I took her to her soccer games. I took her to her soccer practices. I did all of that. Nobody did that but me. When it comes to Ramon, if he plays sports, if my son's father not there, I would take him. But I'm not a athlete. I'm not into that. I don't even watch it. But if push come to shove, me being his mother, he needs to be active, I will take him. But see, he can't even get in sports or do nothing extracurricular activity because I'm having to do this frivolous stuff right here. This stuff done in bad faith right here. The contradictions I'm having to answer to contradictions. I'm having to answer to harassment. So, number 2, that it is in the best interest of the child for Roberto Aguilar to be the sole managing conservator of the child. Roberto haven't even been a sole manager conservator of himself. How you gonna be a sole managing conservator of a child just because you are adult? Your age say that you are a man, but your responsibilities decline so, reject so. And this is not degrading anyone's character. This is just being honest. Everything that I would state, I can prove. And I know, when I talk about something, I'm very passionate about what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to my kids, especially when it comes to being honest, especially when it comes to being truthful, especially when it comes to, especially when it relates to something with my kids and they not being able to have a fair chance. My son is, at this point, if he was with his father, he wouldn't have a fair chance in life. Because he is not going to be rightly structured. And that is true. That's not an opinion. That's truth. I say that's truth. Because a person can say that's my opinion, but just looking at my son's grades and me having to call him, let me say this. One time I called Ramon. I was like, Ramon, I just had a dream about your grades. You're failing. What's up with that? And so he started explaining to me. And now today is January the 18th. I'm looking at his grades. Every semester this far he's been failing. So God is not a God that he should lie, neither son of man that he should repent. If he said it, it is so. literally the Lord in my dream briefly talked to me about Ramon grades. And I talked to Ramon. He was with his daddy this particular day going somewhere. I was like, so I had a dream last night about your grades. Like, talk to me about your grades because you're a felon. And he started explaining to me. And I look at his grades today. He's been failing all this time in every class. So, anyways, number 3, that it is in the best interest of the child to remain in Texas. No, it's not. You can go over there with Ramon, baby. Here, go over there with Ramon. Ramon, can you give us a snack, please? Give us some chips. Give us some chips. Go, Ramon gonna give you something, okay? Okay. Okay, that's my grandbaby. So it's not in the best interest that Ramon remain in Texas. For one, that's a contradiction. The first one is a contradiction that it's in the best interest of Ramon to be with Roberto when Roberto has filed this frivolous lawsuit against me and cannot prove what he said. That I will leave my son with him and don't tell him when I'm going to come back. I never did that to even my daughter. Never. I never did that to my daughter. When I moved here, in court, Roberto stated that I moved and left my daughter there in Texas. My daughter was grown. She had her own place. She decided, because she's grown, she finished school. She was a graduate, finished school. She had her own place. She decided she wanted to stay in Texas. That's something that wasn't even expressed with the court. But he said I left my daughter there, like my daughter was a little kid. Who did I leave her with? Anyways, so that's a contradiction. You're taking me through this frivolous suit that you done in bad faith, and your attorney upholding all the lies, and just trying to discredit me as a parent, and I've done everything for my son. But if this what you're doing is in the best interest of the child, it's a contradiction. A very bad contradiction. I mean, a very deep contradiction. This contradiction just don't even touch the surface. It goes beneath. It goes to the core. Okay. Number 4, that Ramon or that Roberto has had primary possession of the child of the suit for over a year. This is not true. I got this particular document in my box, in my email on December the 9th. On December the 9th. And she said over a year. I got this particular document on December the 9th. Ramon, the court turned Ramon over to his father December the 13th. I got it December the 9th, 2020. The court turned Ramon over to his father December the 13th of 2019. But this document says a number 4 that the father has had primary possession of the child for over a year. That's not true. Okay. Number 5, but it told me to be genuine in the very first page. Okay. Number 5, that you cannot support the child of this suit. You don't want me to support. That's a contradiction because you don't want me to support the child of this suit. Because of you keep trying to fight a frivolous lawsuit. That you keep putting in the documents that we are married. You not upholding the law when it comes to Mr. Aguilar. Y'all, they are playing. So you hear my niece playing with my son. And Ramon, y'all go over there and play. Go, Khalil, go over there and play with Ramon. So in my original court order, it states that if a parent, if Mr. Aguilar is not to pay child support, let me read it to y'all because I want y'all to make sure y'all, I want to make sure y'all have the whole, meaning of what this document states. Okay. page 17. See, I don't even know what page is on. Page 17. Failure to obey a court order for child support or for possession of or access to a child may result in further litigations to enforce the order, including contempt of court. Finding of contempt may be punished by confinement in jail up to 6 months or fine up to $500 each violation. Failure to so it's saying that you're supposed to obey the court order. It says that also that Mr. Aguilar supposed to pay if the court order is modified that he do not pay child support. Any balance that remains, he is to continue to pay child support until he have paid the balance in full. His attorney is not making him uphold our original court order. This is a 2011 order. Matter of fact, he told me on December the 28th, 2020, less than a month ago, that he called his attorney and asked his attorney, why does he keep getting late notice of child support in the mail when he have already got a suit filed? This case is going. Well, sir, original court order and ma'am, attorney, original court order states that he's supposed to pay child support until he pay it in full, no matter what you got going on. So the judge can order for him not to pay, but he's still obligated to still pay child support because he's in arrearages. So you saying that I cannot support my child when this man stay with his mom. This man stay with his mom. He don't know responsibility. If he needs something, he run into mom and daddy. He don't know how to go out there and get a second job. Because he don't have to. He can run to his mom and daddy. He can get all of his bills, his car payment, his car in his daddy name. He can have his cell phone linked to his mother and them cell phone. He don't have to be on his own plan. His insurance, he can get that at a discounted price because he's on his parents. But then I'm over here working, paying everything myself, and you say it's in the best interest of a child to be with a parent that don't know responsibility. Put the responsibility off on their parent. I mean, that's kind of contradiction. That's kind of that's a really bad that's a deep contradiction. And then you say you want me to pay him child support, when all in all he's behind on child support. We went to court in the 12/13/2019. The judge asked him, have he been paying child support? He said he stopped because the attorney general told him to stop. The attorney general didn't tell him that. His attorney told him that. But then she want me to uphold a order that has not been modified with the attorney general and pay him child support. I don't know, y'all. It's a contradiction. Number 6, that you have not visited the child in over a year. Now, this is harassment at this point. This is harassment, saying that you cannot admit or deny that I cannot support my child. or admit or deny that I have not visited my child in over a year. It ain't, when she sent me these papers, it haven't been a year. And another thing that the petitioner and the attorney and her associates should be on one accord to know if I have or not. So why would you be putting this in the document? So if I don't answer this, they know I'm not going to answer this frivolous questions, these frivolous questions, these questions done in bad faith. I'm not going to answer it. So the judge going to sanction me because I didn't answer it, because it's costing me more money to answer frivolous questions, because you just basically said I haven't. Admit or deny that you have not visited the child in over a year. These are questions she could have asked. This attorney should have asked the petitioner. And the petitioner would have told her that she have. I've actually met her several times to pick him up. She have been here several times, and every time she came, she have picked him up. Y'all be the judge. Admit or deny that you should pay Roberto Aguilar guideline child support. Is that a contradiction? You told him you respected that he stopped paying me child support before the judge wrote this order to turn him over to the father. And the judge had to respect what Mr. Aguilar said, that I need my son, because the judge ordered for us to go, and I got to show y'all. I can't make none of this up I'm saying. The judge ordered for us to go through this investigation, with the court, and we ain't. This is not a divorce decree that we going after. I've already had possession of him. I don't have no CPS case. I don't have I don't have a CPS case. I don't have. The teacher never called me. Yes. Okay. The teacher never called me about how my son is being neglected, even when I was in Texas, and then even when I was here by myself. So this is what this says. The associate judge signed this. It says this. My attorney was here now. I had an attorney at the December 13th court hearing. Interview mom, dad, Ramon, paternal grandparents. What do his grandparents have to do with this case? See, this is where it comes with you turning children over to little boys. Because me and the father is adults. Me and the father laid down and had this child. Not the father and the grandparents laid down and had this child. Just as his parents have kept him, it's his responsibility to keep his own son, and his grandparents or his grandmother has kept our son. My mother has kept our son, but that ain't been talked about. So this is one way. It's respected that what he have stated is true, because Roberto parents, preferably his mother, paid for this lawsuit, paid for him to pursue this. I can't make this up. I'm going to show it to you again. Interview mom, dad, Ramon, paternal grandparents, review child school records, and recommend any necessary counsel to help Ramon deal with change. Now, if he was always with Mr. Aguilar and his parents, why didn't they? I was here for a whole 15, 16 months, I believe, before we went to, because I moved here in July 2018. I went to court December the 13th, 2019. So I was here 15, 16 months. They never came to visit Ramon. But you in fear of your son. That's a contradiction. How are you in fear of your son being with a mother, but you never came to visit him? You said it was a waste of your time. Anything that I would state publicly on these videos, I can prove it. He said it was a waste of his time coming here. Nobody never came to visit my son. Every time he seen his son is I paid for our trip to Texas for him to be reunited with his son. It's true. Okay? So yeah, they ordered for the grandparents to go on an investigation. Why do I have to do this? There's never been no CPS case with me. There's never been no police report made against me when it concerned my child. It says that you should pay Roberto Aguilar guideline child support. Well, I already wrote that one. I read that one. And number 8, that you misrepresented to the South Carolina court that the child resided with you in South Carolina after the suit has commenced. That is another question to harass. Because that is not true. My son came with me. He was in school. He got registered in school, living with me the whole time. He was on my lease. Every lease that I received, when I moved by myself, he was on a lease, every lease. He was not in his father's custody. He was with me. So how did I misrepresent? You talk about be genuine and be honest. Is this honest or is this harassment? Is it frivolous again? Is it a question done put in bad faith? So I'm supposed to answer all these questions because basically you have already committed me to the crime or committed me to not being a good parent, not being able to take care of my son. I ain't gonna say not being a good parent, not being able to take care of my son. Have already said that Mr. Aguilar is best that he's with his father. Even when his father have done tax fraud in the year of 2020. But that's not talked about in the court because he's not going to bring that up. So what you're doing and you're talking about in front of your child is going to do. Y'all. So it says, I misrepresented to South Carolina court that the child resided with me. That the child resided with me after this suit had commenced. So, I don't understand that because he went to school here for 2 years, 1.5. Number 9, that you have not paid any court-ordered child support to Roberto Aguilar since the date it was ordered. There was no modification of child support legally with the Attorney General's office. Why? Because if you modify a child support order that has already been established, there's got to be substantial grounds of doing so. And as of December the 28th, 2020, I called the Attorney General and I still have custody of our son legally. Even though they written up this order and then, I went to court. They turned Ramon over to his father. Then months after that, they written up this order. The judge signed it. The child support order has not been modified. As of 12/28/2020, I still have custody of our son. So is that done in bad faith? Is that just to harass me because it hasn't been modified? But you say I have to pay Mr. Aguilar child support. Not only that, that's a contradiction because he still is behind in child support. And as per court order, per family law, that he has to pay child support until he pay the full balance. I don't know, y'all be the judge. Number 10, that a judgment should be entered against you in favor of Roberto Aguilar for any unpaid child support. The judgment should be against him for the 12 months that he was illegally taken out my custody with no substantial reasons to doing so. The judge asked me, now, it is a fact that my situation has changed, which means that I moved out of Texas, right? But the judge asked me, why did I move out of Texas? And I told her, why did I move out of Texas? And I could have proved to her why, what was the reason, what was the necessary reason that I needed to move out of Texas. To provide a better life for me and my son. In Texas, I was constantly being harassed with Mr. Aguilar about paying child support. I was constantly being tormented. If he wanted Ramon to go somewhere, even though we got a child support court order, he will think he have the right because of all those years I allowed him more time with Ramon. So he think he had the right. He even called the police on me because I was coming back from in 2017, I was coming back from a church gathering that I was a volunteer at, and I was going to pick Ramon up, and he didn't want Ramon to go, so he called the police and told the police, my son's scared to go home with me. And this is what he's doing right now. He's in fear of Ramon being with me. What fear? Like, why are you scared? Why was you in El Salvador for 7 weeks, knowing that I was going to move if you was in fear of your son? Why did you, after me moving, why did you file this court case against me? Why you didn't do it before? If you was so much in fear of our son being with me, why you didn't do it before? Why did you wait till I moved to do it? Why he did? Because he couldn't do it. I did everything. He paid child support, true enough. He took Ramon to be around his family. I took Ramon over there to be around his family, true enough. He spent time with Mr. Aguilar's family, true enough. They have taken Ramon, but on trips with his grandparents, with the father and grandparents, no, and I have with one of the grandparents mostly. She's been there every time, the grandmother. And me personally, I've taken him on trips myself, being his mother. I didn't need a chaperone. I didn't need my mother, my father, to go with me to take my kids on a trip. Yeah, and I mean everything just being swept on the rug. So that's the contradictions that's in this file. Like, I mean, you saying I can't support my child, but you want me to still send you documents. It costs money to send you documents. The $15 I will pay to send you, $15 to $50 I will pay to send you documents to your business of answering these questions that I've just went over with you all. It costs money to send her that. I could be spending on my son, necessary things for him. Necessary things for him to do. Fun things. I mean, COVID is here. We are limited to what, to a certain extent to what we can do now, but there are still things, there are still activities he can go do. But I'm fighting this case. Spending money to continue to keep up with this harassment. And then, in the contrary, you can say that you cannot support your child because you're keeping up with the harassment. I mean, I cannot support my child, but the judge is still wanting me to still sign requests or sanctions when the information she's asking for is frivolous. Like the questions, the exhibit A that I went over, those are questions that I shouldn't have to ask, because you should already be talking to your client. Yes, baby. Okay, give me a kiss. Let me kiss it. Give me a kiss. Yeah. Okay. Don't do it again. Just go get your ball. So yes, y'all, that include my message for today. I know I went on a rant, but it's just a lot of information. It's just a lot of papers that I have had this far. My grandbaby, she is so spoiled. She want Ramon. She want my son to do whatever she want him to do. You know, if she tell him to climb the wall and he don't do it, you gonna hear her whining. I'm just exaggerating a little bit, y'all, but y'all be blessed. And I just hope. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to say, that Romans 13 talk about obeying the law of the land, obeying the government. Y'all can go read Romans 13. And I do follow scripture. I do follow what God wanted me to do. Like he wanted me to make it very clear about the contradictions of this case. So I'm doing it. It takes time to do these videos. I've recorded this video about like 4 times. This is my 4th time recording this video, trying to get it right. I having to stop and da. So anyways, I do follow scripture, but also it tells us, God have laws and commandments for us to follow as well. So it tells us to follow the laws of the land. And with this particular case, I follow the family law. I follow the laws of Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. I followed it. And but there is laws that the actual attorney and the judges is creating themselves that they want me to follow. They not even following the law. So I'm not gonna follow a judge law. I'm not gonna. Me personally, it's important for me to study the law, so I don't have to follow the laws the judge is creating on their own. The attorneys is creating on their own. And not only that, if an attorney, my son father attorney, the petition attorney, know that he's lying. And when attorney accept a client, and they can just only go by what the client says for that moment. Ramon, I am on here. Stop it. The attorney can go by what the client says and accept what they given is to be true. But when an attorney find out, this is the first thing they teach with the ABA. Go back over there. The first thing they teach in school, law school, is if you cannot follow a frivolous lawsuit. When you find out your client, and I'm not going to say the first thing they teach, but they is very firm with teaching this. If a client come to you and you find out your client have falsified any documents to you, you supposed to get it right then. You're not supposed to continue to follow a frivolous suit, continue to pursue a lie. And that's what's happening with this case. She's continuing to pursue a lie. Being a woman, and she's a woman, how do you allow I'm gonna use the word irresponsible man? Go over there with Ramon. How do you want an irresponsible man to gain possession of a child when he ain't been responsible for himself all his time?